investigation and autopsy. We're supposed to get it back Friday.
Well, no, we like we said, we're waiting. Let the doctors do what they do. They ain't got their autopsy back neither, so we're trying to get it right. And then when we get it, we're going to share it.
A central point of tension in the investigation into Nolan Wells' death is the role of Mississippi's chief medical examiner, Dr. Staci Turner. She is the official who performed the state-led autopsy on Nolan's body. While the state has publicly defended her credentials, with the public safety commissioner calling her one of the best medical examiners the state has ever had, her history has become a lightning rod for criticism, particularly among activists and the families of young black men who have died under suspicious circumstances. The primary case fueling this scrutiny is the 2021 death of 29-year-old Damien Cameron in Braxton, Mississippi. In that investigation, Dr. Turner ruled Cameron's manner of death as undetermined. This conclusion sparked immediate outrage. Witnesses and independent experts later challenged this finding, with 3 national forensic pathologists reviewing the evidence and stating that Cameron's death should have been classified as a homicide. For many in the community, this ruling felt like an attempt to shield law enforcement from accountability, and it remains a cornerstone of the distrust directed at Dr. Turner's office today.
Okay, what is your name and your job title?
I'm Staci Turner, and I'm the Chief Medical Examiner of the state of Mississippi.
How long have you been at DPS?
It will be 5 years as January 1st.
Beyond individual cases, Dr. Turner faces persistent, though unverified, allegations regarding her work habits. Critics have raised questions about the sheer volume of autopsies attributed to her, with some activists questioning whether it is physically possible to conduct such a high number of examinations with the level of thoroughness required by law. These allegations suggest that the turnaround times reported for some autopsies were too fast to be plausible, raising fears that some investigations may have been rushed or superficial. While these claims remain in the realm of social media and activist discourse, they have contributed to a growing belief that the state's forensic process is not as rigorous as it should be. For the Wells family, these allegations are not just background noise. They are the reason they refuse to rely solely on the state's findings. It is why they fought to have Nolan's body transported to Washington, D.C. for an independent autopsy. They wanted a medical professional with absolutely no ties to Mississippi's investigative system to examine the evidence.
And then they are put in the water. It's very, very easy for coroners to say, no, they were already dead when water entered the lungs. It's actually very easy, right? I think based off what we found out about the coroner, I think that the police chief, and I know, but I think the police chief, I think the coroner, I think the judge, I think everybody is waiting because they didn't think that Nolan's family was going to get an independent autopsy. Independent autopsies are very expensive. When I tell you a cheap one is between $80,000 and a really good one can be up to $400,000, they are not cheap at all, at all. The average person can't do an independent autopsy. They just really can't, especially one when you're looking for forensics and cause of death. So what Cap did, Colin Kaepernick, finally got his name right, what he did was amazing. See, here's what I think's going on. And I think the evidence shows it. I think they were all prepared to lie. Duh. I think they're still prepared to lie. But I think that they want to see what the independent autopsy says first so they can get their story really discombobulated. Because here's the thing. If this lady comes out and she says, well, it's kind of undetermined, we don't know. Or maybe she'll say, well, I looked and I think he drowned. What does that do? What does that do? And then the independent autopsy comes out and be like, what are you talking about? He out of this, that, and the third, et cetera, right? When he does that, one, it makes her look inept. It makes her look like a liar. It makes a cover-up happen. But more importantly, it's the first blow to take down a corrupt system where if you can prove that not only did she'd do an in thing, but her conclusions were unsustainable by a peer-reviewed medical board of people that do what they call pathologists, people that do autopsies. That means that other families that had concern about the autopsies, that had concerns about her current autopsy, can challenge it.
The controversy surrounding Dr. Turner highlights a deeper systemic issue. When a medical examiner's past rulings are viewed as questionable, every new case they handle becomes a target for skepticism. Whether the allegations against her are proven true or are the result of intense public scrutiny, the result is the same. The family of Nolan Wells is left wondering if the state's findings will truly reflect the facts, or if they are just another chapter in a long-standing pattern of distrust. As the investigation into Nolan Wells' death continues, a cloud of uncertainty hangs over the autopsy report itself. In the digital space, allegations are circulating that the Mississippi Medical Examiner's Office is intentionally withholding the final report. Some claim this delay is a calculated move to prevent the findings from being contradicted by the independent autopsy being conducted in Washington, D.C. It is critical to be clear. These claims of a deliberate cover-up remain unverified. Officially, the Jackson County Coroner's Office has stated that while the autopsy has been performed, that the final report is not being released because toxicology and other laboratory tests are still pending. This is a common, if frustrating, part of the forensic process. However, the fact that these allegations exist is in itself a reflection of the deep-seated distrust in this case. The Wells family, represented by Ben Crump, explicitly sought an independent autopsy in Washington, D.C. because they felt the state's process was fundamentally compromised. When a family feels they cannot trust the state to provide the truth, they seek their own answers, and when those answers are delayed, suspicion naturally fills the void. The core of the issue is the potential for conflicting findings. If the state's report and the independent autopsy reach different conclusions, the credibility of the entire investigation will be put to the test. For the public, the question isn't just about what the report says, it's about whether the truth is being managed or revealed. Right now, we are in a waiting game. The state maintains that they are following standard procedure, while the family and their supporters are watching every move, waiting to see if the state's findings will align with the independent results. Until that report is released, the speculation will continue to grow, fueled by the very lack of transparency that the Wells family has been fighting against since day one.
Nolan was also the only one who never returned. That obviously matters. His body was found 2 days after he was reported missing near the shoreline off Horn Island. Did he die in the water or did he die on land? That we're going to know. Police initially said they did not suspect foul play, but his family is insisting on a full investigation. Yesterday, the DA met with Nolan's parents. Afterwards, the family said the case will be presented to a grand jury once the investigation is complete. Interesting. They also said Nolan's phone, which he didn't keep with him when he was separated from his friends, will undergo a forensic inspection from both state and the family's chosen experts. The family believes some of Nolan's messages may have been deleted. Why do they believe that? There's also been new audio released of the boys on the boat that afternoon. Does it mean anything? Let's get some answers. Let's bring in former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer and civil rights attorney Ariva Martin. It's good to have you both. Jennifer, let's start with the nuts and bolts. The audio, does it advance understanding?
Not really, Chris. I guess in a sense, it advances the fact that they were discussing leaking on the boat, that a bilge had an issue. Really, that was it. There was nothing in it that showed anything nefarious, any fighting or anything along those lines. So in that aspect, yes, it gave more clarity.
When the investigation is done, we will present it to a grand jury. Now, Ariva, that can mean something. It can mean nothing, because you can always go to a grand jury. It kind of gives the accountability over to the jury.
No, I think it's an important development, Chris, in this case. This case basically Nolan Wells died, and his death is a mystery to all of us at this point. And when you have a case of this nature, a suspicious murder, suspicious death, I shouldn't say murder because we don't know at this point, but a suspicious death, I think it's appropriate for this case to be submitted to a grand jury. And I believe the independent investigation that's happening with respect to the phone is appropriate, as well as this independent autopsy, which the family has also commissioned as well. Look, you got to look at Mississippi. You have to look at the history of racial terror in Mississippi, the history of African-American victims in a state like Mississippi. And I would concur with the family that they should have independent forensic evidence that is presented to a grand jury, because there is no trust that this family has in this law enforcement agency. You have the governor coming out making statements. You said yourself, Chris, if you don't know anything, why are you talking? So to even have a governor weigh in at this early stage is seemingly inappropriate, particularly since we don't know the facts and this notion that there's no foul play. There's no evidence to support that statement whatsoever.
That answer will be that question will be answered in large part, Jennifer, by the autopsy. Am I correct?
Absolutely. That autopsy is going to show, listen, is there water in the lungs or wasn't there water in the lungs? If there's water in the lungs, that is going to show he likely drowned. If there isn't, that would show that there was foul play and that something happened in advance of him going into that water. So the autopsy is key, along with the toxicology. And this is points of evidence that are independent, meaning no matter what, both individuals, whether it's the ME or whether it's the independent people conducting the autopsy, should come to the same conclusion because it's scientific.
So Dusty, when you were answering the question, said to me, what about the toxicology? Would that decide it? In truth, it goes with your answer. I'll give it to you, Ariva. If there's water in the lungs and the toxicology shows the presence of things, it might help explain why he drowned, but it's still a drowning. And if there's toxicology that's really high and there's no water in the lungs, then it could be suggestive of drugs, but it's what else the autopsy shows, right? Because you can be high and also have been strangled. You know what I mean? You got to see what the autopsy is.
You can be intoxicated and still be pushed into water and drowned by other people. So the drowning itself or water in the lungs is not going to be dispositive about whether a crime was committed in this case. We have to have the complete evidence. I want to know what those friends know. We've been getting these shifting narratives, Chris, about what happened that day. Did he stay behind with the girl? Was the girl even on the island? There's some accounts that the girl left the island and wasn't on the island with Nolan Wells. What did his friends know? When did they come forward with the information that they did have access to? So I don't think water in the lungs alone, or even whatever we learn from this toxicology report alone, is going to give us all the answers this family and this community deserve.
I know it's not satisfying, Jennifer, but what I keep saying to people is, all I know is at this point, it's not wrong to be asking questions. When you get the autopsy back and they give it to you and it seems to check out with other forensic experts that this seems right, that's when you start exhausting the questions and the answers. But right now, they need to get that piece involved. And as soon as they do, I'm coming back to you so that you can help me understand what we now know and what we still need to know and what it means. Jennifer.
So, you know, obviously there's a lot that still needs to be figured out, right? We don't have all... There's certain elements that are still missing here. Yes, we need transparency as soon as possible. We don't have any transparency at all whatsoever. That is a massive problem, in my personal opinion. The fact that we are still waiting for an autopsy report from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, from the Jackson County Medical Examiner's Office is still, I find, very shady. I feel it's very, very shady and suspect. All right. But, you know, it just seems like I don't think that there were other substances other than just alcohol in his system. I truly think that. Now, maybe he drank too much. Maybe he drank too fast, you know, a hard liquor or something like that, that he had some sort of adverse reaction to. I don't know. You know, maybe some I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he had an allergic reaction to something that he didn't know that he was allergic to. I mean, that's possible too. But the fact that if he actually did, succumb to water, then that would tell us no foul play. But given the fact that they have not given us the autopsy results yet, that just screams strange to me. It looks shady. I don't know about you guys, but the way it feels to me, it does not feel like we're getting the full truth here. There is not full transparency going on. And if I were the parents, which I feel like they would be doing this too, and rightfully so, I think that the parents must be losing their minds right now over the fact that we have not heard anything at all from law enforcement. The autopsy results should have been out already, and they haven't. And black people learn how to swim. All black people learn how to swim.